Hey everybody, Stu Smith here going live. It's going a little bit early today. I apologize. Not the normal time, but I have some appointments I need to do at 9:30, 10 o'clock. So we're going early today just to get this one done versus later. Hope it fits your schedule. If not, you can always see our live Q&As over here on YouTube as they just stay up there for good. If you're over here on Instagram, seeing this and you can't stick around for 30, 45 minutes, you can always find them over on YouTube. So check those out and send questions because that's what this is all about. So today I don't really have a beginner topic to discuss. Just wanted to jump right into the CSS critiques just in case I have to cut this short. So here we go. Let's go right into sharing my screen, and we are going to discuss some recent CSS submissions. So we shut down the volume and make this a little bigger. And here we go. So what we got here? Looks like we got a decent kick off the wall. Probably some typed shoulders there. Kind of see him going a little deeper every time he glides. Kick, hold that glide. Yeah, something, if you find yourself gliding like this versus, able to get your shoulders out, know that every time you go into glide position, you're going to go a little deeper if you're on your belly, or if you're on your side, you're going to go to the right, depending on which side you're on. I think that is what's happening here. Something I would almost prefer to do is just stay a little more on your side. Then that way you're not dropping down from like 2 inches under the surface down to 6, and then you have to pull yourself back up using that bottom arm. Notice how he kind of uses the bottom arm to get himself back up to the surface to breathe. So what I try to do is think this more like freestyle, where when you pull this arm right here, your face is already out of the water before it finishes the full completion. So think about having a string tied to your nose and this top hand that is going to be your top arm pull. And as that is pulling, your face is coming out of the water. That's going to keep you closer to the surface and make the breathing process a little bit easier as well. But this isn't bad. I mean, he's still doing 54-second 50s. Taking a little too long on that turnaround. Notice he took out the double arm pull. And this is his weak side. Notice what he does on his weak side compared to a strong side. See how he kind of short arms this stroke like it's like right up next to him? He needs to grab water deeper with that top arm. It needs to be more like a freestyle catch. Notice that here, he's actually grabbing water pretty efficiently with that top arm compared to switching over on the weak side. My advice is just stay on your strong side for now. Let's master that. We can fiddle around with the weak side once we get this pretty efficient and down to 50-second 50s. I think you just need to pull harder, kick harder, hold this glide a little tighter, especially with the shoulders. Try not to go down too deep. That was a very nitpicky critique, but it does work if you just do those little things. Those little things do matter. Well, let's see. Let's keep on going. I don't see any comments here. Let me see over here on Instagram. Any questions? Is the running article you have where it starts off beginner, then goes to advanced, your best way to progress? Why is it not a good idea to run daily at the beginning, even if it's a short distance? It's just my opinion. Most non-runners, right, people who are new to running, probably and a little bit overweight, let's add that in there too, because a lot of them are, shouldn't run every day. And that is my opinion. because you are going to hurt yourself, typically. Now, if you keep it really short, like maybe a mile at a time, do mostly walking or more non-impact cardio for your rest of your cardio, then sure, you could probably do that. But it's just a conservative running program, right? If you want to be a little more aggressive with it, go be a little more aggressive with it, but don't say I didn't warn you. Do you suggest staying on your side or belly after the scissor kick? Good question. That is up to you. I personally kick on my side, and then during that 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi, boom, pulling on 3, I rotate over to my belly. It's a nice slow rotation. It's not kick and flip over. A lot of people do that and then they they flip over a little too soon. Next thing you know, you've kind of weakened your kick by twisting 90 degrees in the middle of it. So if you're going to do that, roll during the glide, not during the kick. So kick, hold that glide. It's up to you. You can stay on your side. Now that's without fins. With fins, you want to stay on your side the whole time, just because it gets a little awkward when you got these big flutter kicks, medium-sized flutter kicks going out of the water, and it shortens your kick a little too much. So stay on your side. Is 17 minutes for the run and swim recommended time for the PST? Yeah, if you were to add those together, 17 minutes is great. I mean, that's an 8:30, 8:30. Now, I will say this. If it's a 10:30, 6:30, you got a 6:30 swim and a 10:30 run, probably not so great. But it's a great swim, but not so great run. So my advice is be somewhere in that sub 9 range for both, and that's excellent. Should you be resting in between the 50-50 rounds? Well, here's how I like to teach it. And at first, you're going to need to rest because you're just not in swimming shape. So as you get in better swimming shape, your rest will decrease. So the way this works is you hit that freestyle hard, don't rest, kick off into the CSS. Now, see if you can catch your breath during the CSS. That is an indicator that you are starting to get in better swimming shape. If you can actually catch your breath while doing the CSS stroke, because you should be able to do that eventually. Now, my advice for you is give yourself 2 to 3 breaths on the wall. Big inhales, big exhales. If you do the math on that, that's probably going to be 15, 20 seconds doing that. So that's plenty of rest. Don't rest longer than that. Any suggestions on how to get a stronger scissor kick? Yeah, I actually have an article on that. In fact, if you look in the on the YouTube, actually, there's an article called CSS Help. In fact, let me CSS Help series. Quick fix to crushing the swim. So the CSS Help series, read this article, and there's another article in it that talks about fixing your kick. And what we do to fix the scissor kick is you got a couple things to do. On leg days, you definitely want to do squats and lunges, maybe even throw in some jumping lunges, like lunge and then jump, standing feet together, right? That is going to be a best dry land version of a scissor kick. You can also do some Romanian split squat, Bulgarian, Romanian, Romanian deadlifts, Bulgarian split squats. All of those can help you develop some leg and hip strength. But something we've been doing a lot lately is you put on the big scuba fins and just do a whipping scissor kick like you were doing it without fins, and just hold that glide. Do it with a kickboard and just big scissor kicks. And I promise you, that will strengthen your scissor kick. And it's really hard to screw up your scissor kick when you have a pair of fins on. Like a lot of times I see people screwing up a scissor kick and that back leg does like a breaststroke kick and the top leg's doing a scissor kick. Looks like a broken pair of scissors when they bring it together. Weakens the kick. But with a pair of fins on, you're pushing water with the bottom of the foot. You're pushing water with the top of the foot on the back leg. And then they meet together. That's how you need to learn how to do the scissor kick without fins, but you can practice it with fins to get a little stronger. I agree. Your rest should be the CSS eventually. Now, if you're coming in and you're not in swimming shape, that's not going to happen. So, what is the most challenging part of buds for you, and what did you see was the most challenging for others? Well, for me, it was running. For others, it was being under a log, being under a boat, running, swimming, treading. Everybody has a weakness. Obstacle courses, everybody has a weakness, and it's an individualized weakness. Nobody, I mean, some people have the same weakness, but throughout the class, nobody's good at everything. So you're going to have a weakness that you have to suck up and maybe engage mental toughness a little bit just to stay with the class. Let's see, no questions over here on the on YouTube. Got all the questions over here on Instagram. That's good. How many miles a week should you be running for SOAS? SOAS is only a week long. My advice is you got a couple of tests you need to do well on. You need to do well on the 1.5 miles. You need to do well on a 4-mile timed run, and you need to do well on a 9-mile ruck. Fit those into your training week, and you could do really well with 20 miles a week, but they need to be fast miles. All right, yeah, you can throw in some aerobic training and do some long, slow distance stuff, or do that on a bike if you want to, if you don't want to do the mileage. But I think working on speed is really important because everything is a test. That 1 week that you're putting out, everything's a test. So prepare for that week. How should I determine what goal pace is when it comes to running 400 and 800s? Well, what is your current mile time? If your current mile time for a timed run is, let's say you're running a 1.5 miles in 10:30. So that means you're currently running a 7-minute mile. My advice is to make your next goal pace a minute faster. So now your goal pace is a 9-minute mile. And you're going to practice running a 6-minute mile pace at on those events. So that means your pace for the 400 will be 1:30. Your pace for the 800 will be 3 minutes. That should be explained in the programs. All right, let's see. What is fast for miles? Well, I'll tell you what, there's 2-mile paces you probably need to learn for Spec Ops training. One is a 6-minute mile pace for testing events like 1.5 miles, 2 mile, 3 miles, depending on your branch of service, and a 7-minute mile or a little bit faster for longer runs like 4-mile timed runs, 5-mile timed runs, stuff like that. So that is fast. I mean, are there faster people? Yes, but that will put you in the top 20% of the class. What pace should you be training for the 9-mile ruck? That's a good question. It's a mix of soft sand, so it's what you train for is going to be a bit different, running on sand. So my advice is try to get some time in that 10 to 12 minute mile zone for your rucking, and that's a good standard. 15-minute miles is too slow. 10 to 12 is competitive. All right, let's do some more swimming. All right, so share my screen. All right, so this is what we showed the first time. Let's see what we got here.
We'll move to the other one.
All right, so we have kick off the wall. Not bad. Like that little dolphin kick. That if you're gonna do a dolphin kick, do it like that. Notice how it generates from the hips. That's smooth, right? A lot of people just bend their knees and like flick them. That really doesn't do anything. That is more undulating effect from your hips down to your feet. That looks good. All right, so top arm, bottom arm, kick. 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi, 4. All right, so if I can count past 3, you're gliding too long. But this is smooth. 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi, 4. Yeah, he's just gliding a little too long. So that's going to probably make this a little slower than it needs to be. But even one of the reasons why he's still fast is he has a really good streamline. See, those arms are straight, biceps on his ears. He's not crooked. Now notice he's staying on his side the whole time. And that looks pretty good. What is this? 49 seconds. That's 49-second 50. So some people can handle a 4-second glide. I personally think you probably need to just pull at 3 and maybe add a stroke, because you also add a breath when you add that stroke. I mean, it's very efficient. But if you could just glide like this all day, and you're turning that 500-yard swim into an easy effort event. Now, you do have to get in shape for this, because I promise you, doing each length in 5, maybe 6 strokes, it will get you winded if you're not conditioned for it. So my advice, do a lot of 50-50s, pull just a little bit earlier, like right here. So 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, pull. Just split second. I know that's nitpicky, but it really is helpful. I promise you. All right, let's see. Let's do another one real quick here. I think this one is the opposite case. I think this one is not gliding long enough. So let's see, as I recall. Kick off the wall, top arm, bottom arm, kick. Yep, see that? See that glide? 1 Mississippi, 2. Can't even say 2 Mississippis. Top arm, bottom arm, 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, pull. Top arm, bottom arm, 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, pull. Now, I will say this, there's a slight delay in that recovery, like almost like you look forward a little bit. So top arm, oh, he's switching sides on us. Let's see how this weak side looks. Top arm, bottom arm. It's good weak side too. There's a slight delay. I got to figure this out. What's going on here? Top arm, bottom arm, kick. I think he just holds his hands down a little bit too low. Like he should be starting to kick during that bottom arm pull versus he starts his kick when both hands are down. Like you can be pulling, you can be opening your legs as that bottom arm and inhale occurs, then kick and glide. It's a timing issue, very, very subtle. But this isn't bad. This is like a 54-second 50, which, once again, is not horrible. Oh, man. Was I not sharing that one? I don't think I shared that one. Damn it. Sorry, guys. I switched videos and didn't share it. So here we go. Top arm, bottom arm, kick. So everything I just said applies to this guy. You can kind of see it with that little pause right there with both hands down by his waist. So top arm, bottom arm, start kicking, kick and glide. Right? You should be opening the legs while you are pulling that bottom arm and inhaling. And then you kick and extend your hands over your head. And he needs to hold this glide a little longer. Notice the glide time. 1 Mississippi, 2. So there you go. So sorry about that. I screwed up that. I wasn't looking at the YouTube video there. All right, let's see. Let me do one more while I got you guys in this zone here. All right. So, screen here. All right, you guys see this? All right. What do we got here? We have kick off the wall. Awkward. I mean, not awkward, but normal. You know, a guy who lifts a lot is going to have tight shoulders. Needs to be a little tighter on the streamline. Like, lock those hands out. Try to straighten your elbows, biceps on your ears. That makes a big difference. So top one, especially right here. Notice the glide here. How the glide turns into a, like, flying like Superman. Right? So one hand on top of the other every time you glide. And you got a good top arm, good bottom arm, kick glide. But notice the timing on the bottom arm. My advice, turn that head out of the water here, and then inhale with the bottom arm. So watch this. I'll stop it when he needs to be turning his head. See that? All right. Stop it. All right, so now watch this. So when he pulls his top arm, he should be turning his head with this top arm. But instead, his top arm has already gone all the way past his chest and down to his waist, and his head's still underwater. His head should be out of the water right now, getting ready to inhale with this bottom arm pull and kick and recover. He needs to work on the glide. I want this one too. Not horrible, though. I will say that. I think this guy's not preparing for buds or anything. He has a swim test for his job. But not bad. Could be a little tighter. That's all. All right, I'm gonna stop sharing for a while. See what we got here. Okay, got a question over here. How heavy should my weight vest be for when I'm doing Stairmaster prepping for land portage? If you haven't seen this article, it's a really good one. All you got to do is Google Stair Stepper Special Ops Stu Smith. For those looking to join, the name of the article is, for those looking to join Special Ops, weighted stair steps are a useful tool. So this is just a useful tool, especially if you don't have access to a beach or hills, things like that. It's just another way to make running and rucking harder. So we usually use about a 40-pound weight vest. Some people use their ruck and just get after it. There's like 3 different types of workouts in that article you can use. Some people use a pyramid. Some people use like interval stuff, 1 minute on, 1 minute off, not off, but slow. And some people just say, how fast can I do 100 flights? You know, that's a good one. All right. We got anybody else missing any questions here? Recommended weekly mileage before shipping. You know what? I'm not going to answer that one just because I've answered it 1,000 times. And if you do a simple Google search with my name in it on running, actually ask the question, how many miles before buds Stu Smith? I'm Googling this for you now, right? In fact, I've done YouTube videos on it. Miles per week before run and other selection programs. Read this. It's my opinion. It's different from other people's opinions. I'm not one of those super long distance guys like 50, 60 miles, but I'm also not a less than 20 miles a week guy either. So I'm somewhere in the middle between 25 and 35. But it depends on what kind of miles you're running. You know, goal pace running is very important, especially if you have a weekly 4-mile timed run. Do you think you need to prepare for that 4-mile timed run at a certain pace in order to pass and be competitive, yes. My advice, 7-minute mile pace on that. Easy, not a gut check. Let's see, what else we have? Other questions. Looks like got a couple of questions here earlier. Okay. How much do you charge for in-person training like the ones you post on Instagram about? So I don't charge anything for those. Those are basically my workouts that I invite young men and women who want to serve to join me. And we create workouts for their specific challenges in their future, whether that is a Spec Ops selection or Marine Corps boot camp or whatever it is. Yeah, if you go to heroesoftomorrow.org, you will see the page and our times, little video in there too about what we do. Heroesoftomorrow.org. Check it out. I'll put it in the comment section for you. Been doing it for over 20 years. I figure if I'm going to write about training and write about coaching, I should be coaching and training all the time. And I do. So I'm luckily with this program, I coach, I don't know, in person probably 15 hours a week and on a very high level of fitness too. How do you improve your 50-meter underwater? My advice is just get in better swimming shape and learn how to be uh, efficient with your underwater stroke. So my advice on anybody who's swimming underwater is one, never do it alone. People die every year swimming underwater, so don't let that be you. Either have a buddy in the pool with you who is swimming on the surface while you swim underwater, or have somebody as a lifeguard, things like that. But don't do it alone, please. But we do this. We try to get over to the other side of the pool in as few strokes as possible. And in a 25-yard pool, you could probably do that in 3 or 4 strokes if you're very efficient. I've seen guys do it in 2. Pretty crazy. They just glide themselves all the way across the pool. So, and they have a really good double arm pull. It's called a breaststroke pullout. Basically, if you Google the term breaststroke pullout, learn how to do that efficiently and recover to that position again tightly and hold that glide after you kick, hold that glide after you double arm pull, and you'll understand the sequence of pull glide, kick glide. And that's all you have to do, all the way across the pool. Notice I didn't say CO2 tables and holding your breath longer. When you get efficient swimming underwater, you should be able to, it's about the same as walking 50 meters holding your breath. And that's a true story. I'm improving on weight training, but I feel like I'm impeding on almost the entire PST for improvement doing Mr. Nichols programs. Well, I mean, Jeff's got some great strength training programs. Do them. If you need to get stronger, get stronger. But if you need to start focusing on the PST, then focus on the PST. You know, I have just found that the two don't go hand in hand very well. If you're doing heavyweight, you know, upper body, heavyweight legs, your PST upper body events might stay the same. Your running might get slower. There's a reason why we go in cycles of cals and cardio, and then we go in a cycle of lifting to get stronger. We rarely put those together, though if you're smart about it, you can put those together smartly. We do that like in the spring and fall, actually. Both of these are transitions. Notice transition, mix of cals, cardio, weights. And this is our cals cardio with running progression, right? And we're transitioning out of weights. So there's two transition phases, spring and fall for us, where we actually mix them together. Each one of them's getting harder, right? The fall's getting heavier and we're running less. Not stop running, but just running less. And the spring is getting easier with the weights, harder with the reps, and we're running more progressively throughout the spring and summer. Just the program I do called Seasonal Tactical Fitness Periodization. Been teaching it, been doing it for over 25 years now, and I promise you it works. If you have time. If you don't have time and you're stuck in the delayed entry program, you got to ship in 6 weeks, you haven't passed the PST, that's your fault, because you should be focused on the PST long before you even talk to a recruiter. But if that's you, then I would get on a program that is going to at least help you focus on the PST solely. Do you also kick on the breaststroke pull for the 50 meter? I kick off the wall, throw a little dolphin kick in there, double arm pull, kick and recover. I do a scissor kick. Some people do a breaststroke kick. All right, folks, let's see what else we got. Any more questions? Looks like we are. Tyler, how you doing, buddy? Let's see. Yeah, I guess that's it. That's all my videos I can show you today anyway. If you got videos you want me to critique, send them. Happy to critique them. If you, wow, something is wrong with my comment section here. Oh, well. Anyway, I do have to go. I appreciate your time for sticking around. If you haven't checked out StuSmithFitness.com, check it out. There's books, ebooks, programs like this, coaching available over there. Use the Live15 coupon code, save 15%. Also, if I missed a question or if you think of a question before or after I hang up on you, just email me, stu@stusmith.com. Happy to help you out with the with that question. So just send me a question, stu@stusmith.com. Go check out StuSmithFitness.com if you're looking for programming. All right, guys, I got to go. I will see you later.